Hey everybody, and this is Kevin Gallagher with Wholesale.fm. We are the original voice of wholesale, and I thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast as we take a look at bluCIGS, and they are a brand of electronic cigarettes. I'm being joined by Jason Healy, who is the president of the company. And so, Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself and about the company itself, the background.
Okay, well, I'm not a big fan of talking about myself, but I'll give it a go. I'm originally, obviously, from Australia, and moved here to the U.S. When I started Blue 4 years ago. And my background is everything from professional sports to manufacturing, which is where I got my background to manufacture in China, which obviously is a huge part of Blue. And Blue started, we started about 4 years ago, hit the market just over 3 years ago now. And as they say, the rest has been history.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. So, you know, for someone that really hasn't heard of an e-cigarette or e-cig, exactly what is it and how does it work?
Well, in simple terms, it's cigarettes meets technology. And essentially all it is in its simplest form is a battery and a cartridge which carries, rather than tobacco, it carries a liquid formula that has flavoring and nicotine. And then the combination of those two is when you inhale, just like you do on a normal cigarette, you're inhaling and exhaling what looks like smoke but is vapor. So you still get your nicotine, you get a nicer flavor than an ashtray, and you inhale and exhale. So habitually it's the same. It's just a technology version of a cigarette, and then also without all the 50,000 plus chemicals that are associated with tobacco cigarettes nowadays.
So you can control more or less what you're actually putting into your body?
Yeah, well, like with our product, we list all our ingredients on our packaging. We also make everything you ingest is 100% made in the U.S. using 100% U.S.-made ingredients. We don't buy any ingredients from overseas either.
Okay. Now, as far as the types of e-cigarettes that you manufacture, that you sell, what are those?
Well, we just launched our new product. So at the moment we have our base, which is the standard Blue, which is around the size of a traditional cigarette. And then it comes with the amazing Blue Pack, which not only charges your cigarettes on the go and holds your cartridges, but it's also socially aware. And then coming out towards the end of this year, we have the bigger product, which is the easiest way to put it. It's for your hardcore e-cig user, longer battery life, bigger cartridge. You know, it's the magnum of electronic cigarettes.
Right. Now, when you talk about battery life and stuff like that, What is the battery life generally, you know, on the average? What are we looking at?
Well, generally, you look at it in terms of the carts. The cart, which is essentially, for the listeners, the cigarette butt end of the device, which is about the same size as a cigarette butt, and it carries all the juice and the nicotine, and that is equivalent to about a pack of cigarettes in terms of puffs. And the battery will generally last you 2 of those, so about half a pack worth of time and puffing on the cigarette. And then, of course, in your Blue Pack, there's the spare battery, which is continually being charged by the pack, so it's ready to go when your one you're using needs to be recharged.
Now, Jason, your company, bluCIGS, has been a leader in the industry. So what are the competitive advantages for a retailer out there that could be listening to this podcast right now about, you know, working with your company? What are the advantages to that?
Well, the big thing we pride ourselves on when it comes to retail is, we have a very large customer base that's come from leading the industry for so many years, and we don't see getting on the shelves as the final step, as the win, if you will. We really work hard at pushing our customers, not only our customers online, but through marketing into stores. And we've had great success with that, where we open up a retail location, We pull out of our database all the customers that live within that area of that retailer, and we let them know and say, hey, you can now stroll down the road and get your blue cartridges or whatever you need from blue at this retailer. So that's a really big part for us is activating our customers, our huge customer base, which is now over 500,000 customers, to go into stores. The second part of it is, our marketing is extensive. We do TV, we do Rolling Stone, Men's Journal, not just little stuff, but full-page ads. We have a $10 million marketing campaign that's ongoing, and we're increasing that next year. So it's really a combination of activating our customers, a customer base that we've worked hard to build, to go from online to in-store, supporting it with heavy marketing, and then also POS and trying to find the ways and help the retailers best move that product from their store. So it's for us, the game really begins when you're on the shelf. It's not the end.
Now, what's interesting to me is that I've been a cigar smoker for maybe 20 years, and I've been a pipe smoker now for about 5 of those years. Okay, so that's the background that I'm coming from. And so what I'm looking at is there then a typical type of user of this product? Is there such a thing? And people such as myself who are cigar smokers or pipe smoker, do you find that they kind of gravitate more towards this product, or is it something else?
Well, you correct me here because I'm not a huge cigar smoker, but what we found is cigar smokers, if you're sitting around a table with a bunch of cigar smokers and you say to them, hey, put your hand up, who's a smoker? Most of them won't. Cigar smokers don't consider themselves a smoker. They're not motivated by the addiction to nicotine or the habit. It's more of a luxury, casual item, and they're very centered on taste and the intricacies of the tobacco and the flavoring. For e-cigs, while sure there's people that smoke cigars that use the product, it's more aimed at your smoker. I mean, it serves the habitual cravings. It works the same, similar. So it's very much a smoker's product. And I don't think it's quite broached that cigar market yet because, as I said, cigar smokers don't consider themselves smokers. They don't inhale. And they're flavor-based or relaxation-based rather than a habitual customer.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head because that's why I smoke a pipe. Is I smoke that for the flavor.
Yeah, I would say you don't consider yourself a smoker.
No, I do not, and it's just a totally different animal. So, one of the things that I think would be important here is that if you could advise about any of your new products that you just have gone and introduced into the market, and why people should know about those.
Well, the big one for us was that we've been getting a lot of press on and has been for a couple months is the new social pack. As I mentioned earlier, we have a pack that is about the size of a pack of cigarettes that holds your electronic cigarette, it holds your spare cartridges, it charges them on the go. It's a mobile charger without being plugged in. But just this month we launched our patented social pack. And apart from looking really cool and the logo lights up on the front when you open it, it's socially aware. So it's the first intelligent pack of cigarettes. So when you turn on the social feature, it's constantly looking and monitoring the environment. And if it spots another blue user, then it lets you know, and it activates and the light.
Oh, wow, really?
And says, hey, there's another blue user in here. What that means for retailers is we put the proprietary software also in our point-of-sale displays. So if you're walking down the street or driving and you go past a store that carries blue, your pack will let you know.
Oh, that's really neat.
And in the early part of 2012, we're developing that even further, where now we're developing software similar to an iTunes, where once you've got the social awareness, the pack is great and it's notifying you. But early next year, when you plug it into your computer to charge the pack, the software like the iTunes will come up and it'll say, hey, you met these people while you were out and you passed these retail locations. And on the personal level, you can choose to connect with those people that you met on Facebook or Twitter, whatever you decide, But from the retail perspective, it will say to you when it comes time, hey, you ordered cartridges, 3 months ago. You need to get some more shortly. Do you want me to place the order online? Or, by the way, I notice you walk past these 3 stores during the week. You can go and buy cartridges there.
Wow, so it's very obvious to me the advantages of a retailer.
Yeah, it's driven both ways. I mean, we understand that electronic cigarettes was launched on the internet, and in 2-3 years, maybe even less, it's going to be purely a retail play. And so we've been developing from day one. Okay, we got to build a solid, loyal customer base that we can then drive into stores, but then also a product that maximizes and uses that technology to again then boost the retail.
Right.
So that part for us is very important because I see it, and as I said, in years to come, where our website will be purely a branding site. It won't sell anything. It'll push to retail, which we've done successfully with not liking to brag, but with Walgreens, it's behind the counter the product. But we're selling about 3,000 units a day there because the customer base, we drive them in there. We get 10,000 people a day looking at our store locator. So we're making that motion to, hey, go to our stores, go to our partners, and how do we maximize that relationship as opposed to the online relationship?
That's really great. Now, I know that this is one thing that we've been talking about that is a trend. Do you see any other trends in the industry coming up over the next year, 5 years?
Well, I think largely the future of the industry is going to be governed by the legislation that the FDA is writing specifically for electronic cigarettes, and that's largely going to determine the direction. And I think with all that's said and done, I think that legislation will be positive from a consumer point of view. It will put some, because what I see is, we've got a great responsibility here coming after cigarettes, and that's something that could be easily squandered, just like cigarettes did when they started messing with the chemicals and putting chemicals in and going down that route. We've got a great opportunity here to have a product that eventually replaces cigarettes, but does it in a responsible way. And I think that legislation is going to do that. So that's, in answer to your question, I think not so much trends, but that everyone's leading up to that moment where that legislation, which should probably hit in about 18 months, how that'll change the industry.
Very interesting. Is there anything that we haven't talked about on this podcast that you'd like to get out right now before we go?
No, just that, I think it's important for us. There's in the world of marketing hype, especially here in the U.S., we've seen retailers get caught up in that because it's such a new industry, and they choose to take a product that can't support returns and exchanges, isn't quality, isn't made in the U.S. here. I think that's important. If I'm going to inhale something, I want to know it's made under tight restrictions and regulations. So those things are important. It gets me so mad when I put so much money and effort into making the juice here in the U.S. A lot cheaper to do it in China. And then people fall for the marketing mistakes. But it's about, for us, the game doesn't start until it's on the shelf. That's not the finish line. So that's the biggest thing. And innovation and all those sorts of things, but I think it's more about the partnership with the retailer at first than anything.
Yeah, that's excellent. Hey, Jason Healy, I want to thank you so much for joining me here today on the podcast. I've been speaking today with Jason Healy, the president of bluCIGS, and I thank you very much for joining us here. Please tune in again to more great podcasts. You can always go to wholesale.fm, download the ones that are there. You can add them to your website. You can pass those around to your friends to say, hey, check out what's going on right now in wholesale. And Jason, once again, thank you very much. I am Kevin Gallagher, your voice of wholesale for wholesale.fm. Stay tuned for upcoming interviews with the industry's leading movers and shakers. Wholesale.fm and the Voice of Wholesale talks directly with suppliers, manufacturers, liquidators, show promoters, trendsetters, and more. This is Kevin Gallagher, the Voice of Wholesale.fm. Stay tuned for more great podcasts, and remember to check out our sister site, GetThatWholesale.com, the Internet's largest wholesale directory. You can contact me for more information on how to advertise or for an interview by calling 888-358-7822. Once again, that's 888-358-7822 at extension 707. Thank you.